In 1971, October 31st, yes, that was Halloween, but I wasn't dressed up like a pirate. Okay, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I knelt down and I said a prayer and I asked Jesus into my life. The next morning when I woke up, I was not guilty. And I did not know that I had been guilty until the guilt was gone. And I woke up, and for 2 days, I was like affected by the Holy Spirit, and I didn't know what that was. But I had a sense of something, that Jesus is real. And then it went away. And through that year, I was like asking questions. It was in October. In the spring, I had this desire in my heart. I thought about my life and what I really want to do. And I had the thought that maybe I could follow God and tell people about Jesus Christ. But remember, I was Catholic. I was wondering, should I be a priest? I'm in the Catholic Church. I was wondering, I thought, no, I don't think I could be a priest. I don't think I could do the, no marriage thing, and other things too. I went home that summer, and my mother said to me, she never said this to me before, but she said, I think, you shouldn't stay home this summer, because your father gets really upset when about this thing about you believing in Jesus, and your father really, it's not good for his heart and his health, because he was sick already, and I could kill him, So she said our neighbor, Ronnie Staple, had a house up in Maine, and I could stay up there behind the house in the shed. I could live in the shed up there in Maine. I thought, wow, that sounds cool. So I went up to Maine, and I lived in Boothbay Harbor, Maine, which is really a beautiful town on the coast, Route 1, back in, on the water. And and I did live in the shed, and I went around asking for jobs, looking for work, and that summer, and I found a job in East Boothbay Harbor, and I hitchhiked back and forth, and I was giving out chick tracts. I have many stories I can tell. I mean, some amazing things happened that summer. But anyway, that summer happened like this, and for 1 month, I didn't have any church, and I would go to a church and look around, and they were, the typical churches. One day I prayed honestly. I said, Lord, I need to go to church somewhere. So right away on the front sidewalk, a girl was walking by, and she said, what are you reading? And I said, the Bible. And she said, I know where there's a church that's on fire for God. I said, oh, okay. She said, we'll pick you up Wednesday night. I said, okay. What time? 6:30. Okay. The car pulled up, and I went to that church, and it was Pastor Stevens' church in Woolwich, Wisconsin, Maine, about 45 minutes away. And they asked the first-time visitors to stand up. So I stood up, and I said, I'm from New York. And afterwards, like people are talking to me, and some new believers in the church lived right next to me, next to the shed, like a stone's throw away in Boothbay Harbor. Anyway, that summer, I started coming to this church. And the very thing that I wanted that spring, when I was in upstate New York, when I wanted to follow God, and I thought maybe I could follow God and he could use me, was now being answered in Maine by meeting Dr. Stevens' church. And what they said at the end of the summer was, we're going to start a Bible college. And I thought, wow, like really? And the people that got to know me, that like there was a group of us about the same age, and we could say we were like hippie-ish type. I mean, we had long hair, and that was the kind of the time. It was 1970. This one couple, they were living in California, and they said God told them to drive to Maine. And they drove from California to Maine, and they told me, they said, this man is on fire for God. This church is amazing. And God told us in California to come here. And so he became a friend and encouragement to me. And he said, you have to go to Bible college. And I said, well, I'm in a secular school in New York, and my family really wants me to go there. But actually, it's not really in my heart. I would love to go to Bible college. And he said, well, you should go to Bible college. And I agreed. I wanted to go. So I hitchhiked from Maine to New York home, and I said to my dad, I want to go to Bible college. And he said, no, it's not going to happen. So I went back up to Maine, and I knew I had a problem because my dad disagreed with me. And so, but it was in my heart. I mean, I didn't know. I was ready to go. I mean, I was ready to give up everything. My family, my education, everything. I was willing to go for it. Whatever. I'm going to jump off a cliff, and I don't know where it's going to lead me. I have no idea. But I'm reading the Bible. Jesus said this. And when I went back home, my dad drove me to the school because he didn't, I don't know, he'd never done that before, but he drove me to the school. He got me in the house. I settled there, and in my mind, I thought, I'm going to try it. So I went to all my classes, like organic chemistry and calculus 3 and all these courses that are like, it was like, not organic, what's the other one? It doesn't matter, but it was like physical chemistry. And it was like, I sat in the classes with these books, and I'm just thinking, is this really what I'm supposed to do, And I went to my guidance counselor, and I said, how much money does my dad get back if I leave the school? First, could I leave? I could leave, come back. I could just, does my dad get his money back? And they said, if you leave within 3 days, you get 100% of the money back. And then after that, 2 weeks and everything. So I was on my second day. So I said, I'm going to leave. So get my dad's money back to him. And so I packed my stuff out of my dorm, and the guys that had been with me already for 2 years, they said to me, you're going to regret this. And I said, nothing actually. I walked out, I went to the ferry, which crossed the Lake Champlain to Vermont, and I started hitchhiking through Vermont into New Hampshire, and then on my way to Maine, and there was like no cars out there. Like I went the wrong way. But I was out under a full moon in the fall, hitchhiking, and I'm thinking, like you've had these moments, I'm sure. And it's like, Lord, you gave your son. So there's nothing for me to give my life. I give my everything to you, Lord. I get to Maine, and there's like a revival going on in the little Bible college and the messages. And I would leave the class, and I would be like amazed at the class, and I felt like I learned in 2 days more about life than I did at two years at the other school. And I thought, this is what I want. And so that was 38 years ago.